Karen,
Yes.
today I'm going to introduce you to a comprehensive, personalized map of your unique energy and life blueprint.
And you have this map?
Yes, technically. But this map is going to guide you towards self awareness,
Okay.
personal growth, and empowerment. How does that sound?
That sounds good, but I still want to know why you have my map.
Well, more than that, this modality that I'm going to present to you is going to facilitate deep access to bodily, generational, and interdimensional intelligences
Ooh,
without any undue religious dogma or affiliation.
nice.
Would you be impressed if I actually was able to pull that off?
I would be very impressed.
So would I. Well, I certainly can't take credit for being able to do that, but our guests today certainly can. And that's precisely what they're going to do on this episode of The Skeptic Metaphysicians. My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
we both want to believe.
so we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something
Anything.
that will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Hey, I'm Will.
And I'm Karen.
And today, with the help from our esteemed experts, we're diving into a spiritual modality that combines astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah, and Vedic philosophy all into one neat package that will so precisely explain who you are at the deepest levels that you will never be the same. If you're not yet intrigued by that cryptic inference in my words, then it's likely that you already know what it is we're talking about. But in case you don't, well, prepare yourself to dive into the eye opening world of human design with our guests, co founders of De Luna and human design experts, Shayna Cornelius and Dana Stiles. Ladies, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Promise you we're more excited than you are because this is a topic we've wanted to dive into for a long time. And I did hear you on another show and it was beautiful. It was perfect. So I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We are looking forward to it too. It's such a pleasure to get to talk about human design because it has genuinely changed our lives so much. So any conversation we get to have about human design, it's the best day of our lives. So thank you for having us.
Wow, that's
Great.
exciting to be able to give you the best day of your life. Then.
Yeah.
All right. So the way that I introduced the topic, was I off base at all, or does that include all of the stuff that we talked about?
No, you were right on track. And, human design is so complex that it really does take, it's really important to take a grounded approach to it. So I love how you explained it. It is a synthesis of these ancient sciences like astrology and the Chinese I Ching and the chakra system and the Kabbalah tree of life, but it also weaves together modern sciences like our DNA and neutrinos and our genetics. So it's combining kind of these two worlds together and synthesizing everything to show you what your energetic blueprint or map or energetic body looks like so you can understand how to operate day to day and interact with the world around you in a way that's going to serve you versus feeling like you're just fumbling around in the dark or swimming upstream and just seeing what's going to work. It gives you this roadmap of here's how your energy works. Here's how you have less resistance. Here's how you have more ease and how you can reliably come back to your own alignment every single day to make these big decisions and navigate life. So it's, like Dana said, life changing. And when we first heard about human design, we were seriously shocked as to why we hadn't heard about it sooner, because that's how profound it can be. It can alter the course of your life just by finding out about it for the first time. So not a lot of systems are that powerful, but human design really, it just has it all, which sounds too good to be true, but it does.
It sounds really complicated and a little overwhelming. Is it hard to learn? Is it something you learn? Is it like something someone gives you? How does it work?
Yeah, it is, I think, challenging for a lot of people to learn, but just as astrology is, we hear about the watered down version of astrology in our sun sign horoscope. But if you really get into it, there are so many layers. It is so complex. So human design is just like that. It's using that astrology and getting even more complex. For Shayna and I, we are both 2 4s, which in human design, you have like this personality archetype. For both of us, we have this energy of being a natural. at certain things because we're 2 4s. And for both of us, the first time we looked at a human design chart, it just clicked for both of us. We just felt like every single piece of information we heard, it just resonated and it went into our internal filing system and we had it memorized from the first time of hearing it. So for us, it was kind of an intuitive thing, but I don't think that that's the experience for most people. So we really are passionate about going out there and discovering all of the layers and deciphering it and assimilating it, and then being able to share with other people in a really simplified way because it is kind of overwhelming. When you first pull up your chart, you see this body graph with all these shapes and these numbers and the arrows and the decimal points, and you're like, oh my gosh, what does all of this mean? But, once there are kind of these like simplified places that you can start, and even just learning the very first, most simple foundational level of human design, which would be your type, just learning that one thing can literally change your life. So there's a really infinite abyss to go explore within, but also you can just scratch the surface, and that's enough to really change your life.
Now, to your point, it can be overwhelming. Karen and I have had our chart done, and I couldn't tell you a single thing that I mean, at the time, I remember them, they explained it to me, and I went, "Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense," but now I have no idea whether I was a 2-4 or a 5-27. I have no
Yeah.
clue, and what they mean exactly. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to dive into the different, archetypes, for lack of a better word, as we move forward. But is it like astrology where you look at the person's chart based on the day that they were born and the time and all that kind of stuff? Or does it get more detailed than that?
Yeah, so you pull up your chart. You can pull it up for free online. A lot of places have it. You can pull it up on our website, which is daylunalife.com. And it's a free chart, but you just need your birth date, time, and place. So it is similar to astrology in that you need your exact birth time to pull up your chart. And it's pulling the data from the planetary energy that was happening at the moment that you were born when you left your mother's womb and 88 days before you were born when your consciousness comes into the womb. And so it's combining those two aspects that give you your design and your personality that show your whole human design blueprint, kind of like your consciousness and your physical body. So it's taking almost this imprint that happens with the planetary energies that's coming from the neutrino stream, which, if you're familiar with quantum sciences and dark matter and everything, neutrinos are passing through everything all the time. They're passing through these giant masses in the sky, these planets, and they're picking up a little bit of information and depositing a little bit of information. So when you are born, it's passing through you, through your body, and leaving a bit of information. And that's what's giving you your design. So you pull it up online, it shows you what the planetary energy was that moment, basically, and 88 days before. And that's what's showing you your whole energetic blueprint.
Okay, so you're saying that we are made up of star shrapnel, basically.
I
Yes.
mean, yeah. Which that's kind of fun. I love that. Star
Mhm.
shrapnel. I'll take
Yep,
it.
makes sense to me.
And if you don't have access to the time you were born, you can't do this?
If you don't have access to the time you were born, we recommend that you run your chart a few times throughout your birthday.
I
And
thought you were gonna say you just run away from this whole modality.
you just run. Yeah. So you run your chart a few times a day, and then you can see if any big thing changes. So if you run your chart in the morning of your birthday and in the night of your birthday, and your type changes or your profile changes, and it's like, okay, I need to get a hold of my birth time. But if you run your chart a few times throughout that day, and most of the big things stay the same, okay, this is going to be correct for me. So it is beneficial to find that accurate birth time on your birth certificate or even call the hospital that you were born at. Sometimes they have it in their records, even if you don't have your birth certificate. And if all else fails, there are astrologers who specialize in birth time rectification. And, so for the big aspects in your human design chart, like your type, your authority, your profile, those will stay the same, even if you're, a few minutes off. I mean, it depends on the day. But smaller details like your human design diet and your environment, there's other areas of your chart that are so specific and nuanced that even just a minute or two off can actually change those aspects of your chart.
Earth
Wow.
time rectifier?
Yeah.
what is it
Mhm.
to someone that
Yeah.
actually that's their job, that they
They're
just
It's for
rectify
people
someone?
like us that were born before computers.
yeah.
We were born before, oh my God, I never thought about that. We were born before computers. So if there was a fire, there's no record of me. Hey, that's kind of good.
Note to self: if you want to get off the grid.
Just be old.
Oh gosh.
Oh my
All right.
gosh.
It's good to know that. I mean, I didn't even think about to call the hospital. It makes sense because my mother, every time I ask her what time I was born, she tells me a different time. So
She does. But see, they might not have a record of yours because it would like be on a piece of paper on a file cabinet somewhere if they still have it. And they probably get rid of those every, 30 years.
yeah.
So they just got rid of yours.
All
I
right.
love it. I mean, birth time rectification, they ask you a series of questions to really pinpoint certain traits and experiences that would be shown in your astrology. And so they get really, really detailed to then fine tune the exact time that you were
Mm.
born based off of your answers. So while we don't do that or know anyone that we refer people to,
Oh, but
we
thanks for bringing
heard
it up, though.
yeah, but I mean, so many people don't have their birth time because,
Right.
their
Yeah.
hospital burned down or something and they don't have the time. So it's
So
it's helpful to know.
do you just Google birth time rectifier
Yeah,
and oh, I'm gonna have to do that. I was
Yeah.
kidding, but if that's the case, that's the thing. I'm gonna do that for
it
sure.
is.
So you get all this information and then we give it to someone like you, or is it something that we do on our own?
Either.
Like you
So
said.
you can pull up your chart for free and you're going to see your chart, which looks crazy. It's a bunch of triangles and squares and shapes and lines and colors. And that looks overwhelming. But on the right hand side of that, you'll have these written categories. It's going to have your name, your type, your strategy, authority. And then it gets, finer detailed categories. But the main
Mm,
ones that you want to look for to start off are your type, strategy, and authority. And this is the foundation of human design, of how you're here to navigate your day to day life and interact with other people. And you can learn a lot about your strategy on podcasts, online, through books. There's a lot of resources out there. We put out a ton of resources for this information because this is what the navigation system is to really start implementing this. So you can self study and learn it, which a lot of people do. And also, you can get a reading or have somebody else look at your chart. So it really depends on how you're wanting to dive in. But the place that we always recommend starting with is your type, strategy, and authority. And your authority is how you're making big decisions that are going to alter the course of your life, your consistent way of accessing your truth. So,
mm,
these areas are the broadest categories in human design. And then it gets very, very, very specific because just like the name suggests, human design, it's just as complex as we are as human beings and has the infinite amount of uniqueness as we all do as human beings. So it
mm.
gets very, very detailed, but starting with those broader categories first is definitely the place to start.
Saying this information is helping you navigate your life, which sounds great, but how? Like how does it help you navigate? I'm just
Space shrapnel, I'm
I
telling you.
like, do you say, "Oh, this is what it," like, is it just showing you, "Oh, this is what I do," so you can understand it more, or can you change it? Like, explain
Yeah.
to me how this is beneficial.
Totally. So there's kind of two sides of human design. On one side, you're looking at your unique gifts and qualities to reflect upon those things. And it's really helpful to understand these are the gifts I'm here to share. This is what my life purpose is. These are the things I'm naturally good at. And here's the fears that might be associated with those gifts or qualities that I have. So that's one side of human design. The other side is this navigation system, your strategy and authority. So what this is really talking about, when you look at your human design type, this is the first most foundational level of human design. There are 5 different types. And what those types are really describing is the 5 different aura types. So every single person has one of these 5 types, and we call them manifester, generator, manifesting generator, projectors, and reflectors. So depending on which one you are, you're going to have a specific aura that is designed to exchange energy with the world around you in a certain way. Now, it's really important to understand these nonverbal kind of energetic communications you're having with other people, because some people, manifestors, for example, they have this aura that's here to go first. They're here to be a starter. They're here to initiate. They're here to be the first one to put that thing out there. Then you have someone who's a generator. Their aura is designed to receive. They're designed to be magnetic. They're kind of waiting for life to happen and then they can respond to life. So there's some people who are really designed to initiate. There's some people who are designed to sit back a little bit and let life come to them. So if you're someone who's here to sit back a little bit and let life come to you, and you've been taught to seek and to push and to put yourself out there, you're going to be creating resistance in the way that you are designed to move through the world. And that might be because one of your parents was someone who's designed to initiate, or one of your teachers or society taught you that that's more valuable. So you're pushing yourself to operate in this way that doesn't feel natural with your energy flow because we've been taught to be that way. So that's where your strategy comes into play. Each one of those 5 aura types has a unique strategy that when you're practicing this strategy daily, it helps you align with the way that your energy is meant to exchange energy. And it creates more ease, more flow. You allow instead of pushing and swimming upstream. So, with those 5 aura types, I'll just kind of briefly run through them. And for anyone listening, I'd really recommend that you pause and go ahead and look up your
Mhm.
chart and then see which of those 5 types you are as you listen along. But with manifestors, manifestors are more rare. Manifestors are less than 10% of the population. And these are people who have a very impactful aura that's designed to initiate.
And let me just manifestor. This has nothing to do with that whole new age thought process of manifestation, right? This is a totally different because when I first looked at it, I'm thinking manifestor is someone who makes things happen, like manifests
Mhm.
things. Whereas a generator, I would think someone, to your point, you just said a generator is someone who kind of sits back and lets things come to them. But as if you think of the word generator, you think you're going to be generating things. So it's really not very intuitive. So you really kind of have to follow along because it gets confusing. Right?
Yeah, it does. Because obviously, any of the types can manifest. If we're talking about this new age co creating and manifesting something into reality, all of the
Right.
5 types can do that. However, the way that those different types move about manifesting is going to be different based on how your energy is and the way that things come to you. But yeah, the reason that manifestors are called that name, they actually are the ones that have the easiest time setting new things into action. Based on their
Ooh.
voice, they have this powerful energy that is designed to initiate, and their voice is powerful. One little thing that they say or they do, their aura has this energy that amplifies or magnifies every act that they do, every word that they say. So they are designed to be this powerful fire starting, initiating. They can initiate new things into the world, they can manifest new things really easily, they can rally the energy in other people really easily because they have this powerful sort of like amplifying aura. They also have a closed aura where they're really hard to read because they're designed to be super independent. They're designed to do whatever they want to do because they want to do it. They are not here to be influenced by other people. They're here to create what they feel called to create from the inside out. And so they have this aura that also kind of is like this block that, walls them in to protect them from that outside influence. But because they have such a powerful aura, they can initiate other people so easily. They can be such a catalyst in other people's lives, and they're kind of hard to read. This makes manifestors feel a little bit scary to a lot of the world, especially if you had a manifestor child. Everything they say and do just creates this ripple effect all around them, and they're really hard to read. So it can feel like you want to control this manifestor because you know anything they say or do is going to have such a big impact on your life. So, in order for manifestors to eliminate that resistance of other people trying to control them or stop them, they use their strategy of informing, of using their voice to let people know what's happening inside this protected aura. It's like opening up a window in this closed walled aura so that people can see, oh, that's what you're wanting to do. That's what you're thinking about doing next. And that actually creates more ease in their relationship. It allows people to get on board with what they're wanting to do instead of being scared or, afraid of what they're going to do next. And it gives the manifestor even more freedom, even more independence to do what they want to do and say what they want to say when they are having that open communication. And it's important to know that as a manifestor, the last thing on planet Earth they want to do is inform and let people know what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they're wanting to do next, because they're very independent people. So it feels like I just want to do my own thing and I don't want to have to tell anyone what I'm doing. I don't want to have to ask for permission. And it's not that they're asking for permission, it's just by letting people know what they're wanting. Their voice not only rallies energy in the people around them to want to get on board, to want to support them, it also just kind of opens up that feeling of, instead of them being closed and hard to read, they feel more inclusive. People want to kind of share with a manifester. So, for any manifestors listening, starting to practice that informing, it might feel uncomfortable, but when you start experimenting with that strategy, then you get to see for yourself, did this create more ease in my relationships? Do I feel like things are opening up for me? I'm getting unstuck. Things are moving faster the more I practice this strategy.
Yeah. So manifestors really, they feel like I just want to be left alone to do my own thing. They want to have peace. So a lot of manifestors, when they hear that they're manifestors, feel I'm not that
Vindicated.
impactful. Yeah,
Oh,
or no, they feel like I'm not a fire starter or a trailblazer. I'm not that impactful. Like I just want to chill. I just want to do my own thing. But they don't notice that when they said that one thing to their friend, like, "Hey, I saw that you always do things like this. Maybe you should try it like that." That started a whole catalyst of events in that person's life. So the
wow.
more that a manifestor can use their voice to just say what it is they're thinking, feeling, what they're confused about, what they don't have the answers for, that vulnerable informing creates massive change in their life. Because there can be a tendency to say, I'll tell you about this once I figure it out, once I know what I'm going to do, or once I have the solution. But if you can inform before that, that rallies the energy around you in the universe and the friends and family around you to come in and support and make that thing happen faster. So,
Mm.
informing is the most important thing always. And it's always the hardest thing too for manifestors. And they're the only type where their strategy feels foreign or like a stretch into doing it. But as you experiment, you start proving to yourself, wow, that was so much easier. I had so much more impact with less effort. And you really get to get the rewards from that.
And
Uh,
I did want to say with manifestors, part of human design is talking about your energy as far as your energy expenditure. Like, you think about each of the five types as a different car. Some cars are hybrids, some cars are diesel, some cars are, a gasoline car. And it's important to know that another aspect of human design is how much energy you're designed to have and how that energy flows. So for manifestors, they get these surges of energy where they're wanting to create and work on things and start things, and then they get in like a ebb of energy where they need to just rest and they don't have consistent energy to finish the things they start. They're here to be starters. They are not here to tend to their fires forever. And by
mm,
informing, they allow other people to come in and help them see their projects through to completion. So a big piece of conditioning manifestors can get is that you must finish everything you start. And that's an incorrect use of energies for manifestors. They're not here to be people who complete things all the time. They are here to initiate new things into the world and then kind of pass them off to other people who might want to see that thing through to completion.
all right. So I've got to figure out what my birth date is because I just, as we're talking, did my chart again on your website, and it turns out I'm not a manifestor, and I thought I was because I do. My whole thing was I'll start something and hand it off to someone else because I can't
Mhm.
be bothered to finish it off. In fact, that's one of the things that my mom really hates about me. So
Yeah.
I never finish anything.
So what does your chart say? Does it say manifesting generator?
It does not. It says
Okay.
generator.
Oh.
So we need to take a break, but when we
Uh-huh.
come back, we're going to dive into the other types as well as all the other things that come around with human design. We'll dive into what a generator is since I just did that, pulled that chart. And we'll also talk about the, shall we say, more mysterious parts of human design. That's right after this break. Welcome back to the Skeptic Metaphysicians. We are talking to Dana and Shayna, who are human design experts, and they've already blown our mind talking about Manifestor. And in the middle of the conversation, I was so rude that I actually just pulled a chart as they were talking because I was so curious, right? Because I've done it before. I don't remember anything about it. I don't remember actually being called a generator before, but here it is. I put it in and I turns out I'm a generator. So we talked about Manifestor. Let's talk about generator next because I'm selfish like that.
Yeah, so generators have this aura that is open and enveloping. So we talked about how the manifester has a closed and really impactful aura. The generator's aura feels very different than the manifestor aura. The generator aura feels warm, they feel inclusive. When they are lit up by something, that energy just spills out of them and wraps other people in a warm hug and charges up other people. So when a generator is doing things that they love with their energy, they generate more life force energy that spills out of their open aura and feeds the people around them. So generators feel welcoming. They feel like they nurture you with their joy for life. And when they are doing things that they love, they are so sparkly. They are so magnetic. They attract to them opportunities and inspiration all the time. And when they bump into that thing, they get to then just respond with their bodies. So the generator is designed to be magnetic and to allow life to kind of come to them. And then when they bump into something and their body gets this energy response coming from their sacral center, they get this like turn on, this rise in energy in their body. That's their body indicating that this thing is something that they're here to engage with. So for a generator, they have consistent life force energy that they have access to. They're here to use up their energy every single day, doing things that light them up, building on things that they love, creating things they love. And they do have a consistent amount of energy to see things through to completion when something is truly right for them. So if a generator is not actually into something, they are not going to have that consistent energy to complete
Mhm.
it. They're going to be like, nope, my gas tank is completely empty for that thing. And then something else comes along 1 hour later and it lights them up. And they're like, well, guess what? Tank is full now. So it wasn't that you were out of gas. It was that you were out of gas for this thing because your body is no longer into it. So it's important that they're staying present and really listening to their body's energy response to the things that are happening in front of them. If you feel like you're drudging through the mud to get on this phone call, that's your body saying this phone call is not aligned for you in this moment.
Oh, so at first I felt very attacked, and now I feel very, seen. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy for someone to say that, and at first, I'll admit, I'm like, "Shh, shh, don't stop talking because you're giving away my secrets," right? "Oh, I'm so tired. I can't. I'm just too tired." And all of a sudden, here I am, and suddenly I have all the energy in the world. That makes sense to me,
Yeah.
but what struck me the most is what you said afterwards, which was, it's just not, you actually said it earlier, it's not for you, right? You're supposed to follow whatever the energetic signature of your type is, and that makes a lot of sense for
Yeah,
me so
and
far.
it's knowing
Mm.
that your body as a generator is constantly trying to lead you to be in the right place at the right time, to bump into that billboard that you see or overhear that conversation that you're like, "Ooh, that's what I want to start doing next or offering next." And if you are putting your head down and just sacrificing yourself, ignoring what your body's telling you, drudging through the mud to just do what you should be doing or what other people need you to be doing, then you are keeping yourself from that divine timing and that alignment and those synchronicities. So the more that you can tune in and say,
Mm,
okay, what's actually in front of me right now? How does my body feel? Do I have energy towards this thing? Do I feel blah, whatever? Do I feel drudging through the mud? And can I listen? Knowing what your body's telling you is the key because your body as a generator is your guide, and it's really interesting because generators have this open and enveloping and nourishing aura, and they have energy to work on the things that they love. People then feel like they can ask you to do things for them because they feel welcome to, and they can see that you're capable. So
mm,
that's what really lends itself to feeling like you have to people please or that other people are needing this, they're asking it of you, so you should. And really starting to say no
gotcha.
more as a generator is where things start to turn. Having enlightened selfishness, I put in quotes, is the key because when you can start taking your energy back and saying, I'm just not into that right now. Like that might change tomorrow, but it takes you taking your energy back and then putting something else in front of you and saying yes to, when you have that energy to then be able to come back to that thing with energy again versus just forcing yourself through it. It's almost like calling yourself out, but knowing that that might change tomorrow or the next day or the day after that, it's just about trusting that your body knows more than your mind ever could.
See, now I'm a little nervous about this because I feel like you have just given him an excuse to not do a lot of stuff. Like
Mm,
nobody likes to do laundry.
hey,
I never have the energy, but I
you
have to do it.
I'm sorry, I was not placed on this world to do
See,
laundry. I'm
no,
sorry. See, you got it from the experts. I'm sorry, Karen, but you are on your own.
you're gonna have dirty clothes for a
And
long
that's the
time.
thing, right? Your body is not ever gonna be like, "Ooh, I wanna do my taxes." Like, "Ooh, I'm excited. I have energy to wash the dishes right
Mhm.
now." I mean, for some people that okay, I'm drudging through the mud to do my laundry right now. That awareness alone of what your
Mhm.
body's wanting, that is increasing your magnetism. So it's about having awareness. What is my body feeling? And can I listen? Great. Can I not? That's okay. I'm hearing my body. I'm aware of my body. And yes, I still have to do my laundry, but I know what my body's signals are. And that's telling your energetic body, the universe, what have you, whatever you believe in, I'm listening. I matter. I'm paying attention. I'm trying to honor myself just by tuning into these subtle energies that I'm feeling.
So basically, I don't wanna do laundry,
But you have to do it anyways.
but I'm not liking it.
Yes.
So just making that statement. I know I gotta do laundry, but I'm not about it. I don't like it. And so,
And I'm
uh,
okay with that. You don't have to like it.
And just
No.
statistically speaking, generators are one of the more common. They're over 35% of the population. And then there's manifesting generators, which are a hybrid of those first two types. So pretty
mm,
much anyone we meet, I'm like, well, statistically speaking, chances are you're either a
Mhm.
generator or a manifesting generator. And that's telling
mm.
you about your aura type and the fact that you're here to listen to your body instead of your mind. And you have that consistent energy. But then we can get so much deeper into your chart and see so many nuances like what you were saying about being a generator, but someone who doesn't want to finish a lot of projects, there's different aspects that are getting way into the weeds of the human design chart that could say, well, I wonder if you have an undefined G center. I wonder if you have gate 15, because these would be indicators that
Super personal
you,
too.
yeah, indicators that you
Center
move
well.
on. That you move on really quick. So there's so many nuances, but understanding your aura type it's crucial, and now that we've been doing this for so long, it was difficult at first to guess what someone was, but now when I'm actually with someone in physical proximity, I can almost feel it immediately because I've really attuned myself to feel
Right.
what the different aura types feel like.
Generator is the most
Which
common.
does not
So I
mean
feel like I just been
no,
called
I was
basic.
about to say that does not mean the least special because generators and
Uh-huh.
manifesting generators are actually the most important energy type on the planet because they have the power to
Okay.
change the world. Because like Dana was saying,
Okay. You
that when your energy, when you're doing what you love, it spills out and feeds the rest of the people around you. That is powerful. I mean, Oprah is a generator. Beyonce is a manifesting generator.
Albert Einstein was a
Yeah.
generator. Nikola
I
Tesla was a
Mm,
well,
generator.
I just found mine
uh,
from the old
well,
thing. I'm a reflector.
wait,
oh, there
really?
you go.
Wait, no
Hold on. I need to
way.
see your chart. Can you like show it on the screen?
Well, our friend did it a while ago, and I'm like, "Here, I knew I had it in my emails,
Yeah,
but I had to look."
but I
Like,
kind
I'm
of
a
think I
reflector.
kind of feel like
I don't
she
know what that
said that we
means.
were both the same, and that
No.
didn't
She
come
said I
out that
was a
Can
way.
you
weird one.
your
I mean,
birth
not weird,
I
details
just
in the
mean,
weird.
chat
mm,
Reflectors
so I
are
can pull up your chart?
reflectors are extremely rare. Only 1% of the population are
Yeah, I know she
reflectors.
told me that.
Oh, okay. So,
Mhm.
Well, if
no,
it's
it's
good or
great.
bad.
It's all
It's
great.
amazing.
so I'm basic and you're weird. That's good.
Opposites attract, baby.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's talk about the rest of the types then because I definitely want to tell you about reflectors. Just briefly,
Yeah, let's do
being a
that.
manifesting generator like Dana said, that's a hybrid of the two types that we just talked about, manifestor and generator. And manifesting generators are here to initiate things and start new projects and work on what they love. So, man gens feel really quick. They get bored of things really fast. They are here to have many, many, many different things under their umbrella.
Hmm.
And they're here to bounce around from thing to thing. So, manifesting generators really are here to have fun and play and trailblaze and do things their own way and quit things when they start them. Well, if they want to.
But that's me. How am I not a
I
manifesting
know it's
generator
killing
then?
me
That's
that I can't
exactly
look at your
me.
charts because there's so many nuances within your chart that would tell us things. But in general, manifesting generators feel like I have to just pick one thing and stick with it, or else I'm flaky, or else I'm all over the place, or else I'm too much. And they are here to have many different sides of their career, of their relationships, of their life. They're here to play and take on challenges. And it's through informing and listening to their body that they have the freedom and satisfaction that they're here to have in their life.
But so it brings I gotta ask the question because I'm bursting at the seams here. Is it possible that these are not correct? I mean, it just everything you're saying sounds
Like
like
you?
me, right?
Well,
Like totally like me. So
well, as you're you just looked up your chart, but I'm like, did you put in the right birth time and did you check one because
I tried
week
two different ones,
and they both said
and
generator?
they both say generator. Yeah,
Okay, so when you're looking at your chart, the diamond in the middle of your chart, is it white or is it colored in?
diamond in the middle of the chart. It is colored in. It's like a pink,
Oh, okay.
kind of weird
Do you
These
color.
are
oh,
too
I'm not
complex.
this is
Yeah.
too much too deep
Well,
questions.
if you feel called, you can put your birth details in the chat and I will pull up your chart and text it to Dana because I really want to see these nuances. And I know that you both are guessing your birth times, right?
No, I remember, when our friend did ours, I actually called my mom who dug up my birth certificate. So it was the
Oh,
Amazing.
accurate
okay.
time.
Amazing. Awesome. So while he's typing it in, I mean, just briefly, we'll talk about projectors and then we'll get into reflectors. So, projectors, Shayna and I are both projectors, and projectors are less than 20% of the population. Projectors have this aura that projects out of their energy and into the other, goes into the other. So, their aura is designed to penetrate into the other and see someone's energy really deeply. And in that same way, their aura can project out of them and penetrate into a system or a business. So, because of this aura, projectors are really here to guide the energy use of others. They're designed to see other people really deeply, and they're not really able to see themselves in that same way because their aura goes out into the other. So, for projectors, they're really here to be guides. They're here to share their insight and they're here to guide the energy use of others. On their own, they do not have a consistent amount of energy. They're what we call non energy beings. So, projectors are really only designed to work from 2 to 4 hours a day of hard energy output. And the rest of the time, they're here to do things like brainstorm and read, preferably lying down on the couch. And, when projectors first hear this, they feel this complete light bulb moment, this complete validation, but also they feel like, how the heck am I supposed to support myself from only working 2 to 4 hours a day? So
Mm.
Shayna and I are both projectors. And when we discovered human design, we had graduated college together. That's how we've met. We've been best friends since college for over 15 years now. And we kind of climbed the corporate ladder like we thought we should, hit age 27 and felt so burnt out. We both felt like we were sick and we're like, what's wrong with us? We're these young women, like we should have all of the energy in the world. And instead, we feel completely wrecked from going in and working this 40-hour week. So when we discovered that we were projectors, we started experimenting with working less, even though financially that felt impossible and really scary. And when projectors start to work less, they give actually more energy to focus on their wisdom, on sharing their insight, on guiding other people. And that's really what they're here to do. Now,
Mm.
when a projector tries to give unsolicited advice, that advice is repelling. It feels like a mosquito that's penetrating into your energy, and you're just like, get away from me. I didn't ask for this. Projector strategy is waiting for the invitation. They're waiting for other people to recognize their wisdom and to want their wisdom. And then when the projector shares that insight, other people receive it really well and are so appreciative. So it actually protects the projector from wasting energy, which is a very precious resource for them to wait for that invitation. And when they just focus on their own fascinations, their own zone of genius, building that up, and they let other people see them, recognize them, and invite them, that's the way that their advice kind of flows energetically instead of feeling like that resistance or that going upstream sort of energy.
Is it possible to be straddling all of these at one time?
Yes.
Because it sounds like that's me
I
too.
know.
Absolutely. Actually, it is. We are all kind of a blend of all of
And
the
that's
types.
yeah, I was just about to say that's
Go
because
ahead.
you have areas in your chart where you are empathetic and you are taking in the world around you and amplifying it. And you can feel like you are a projector or a reflector in those areas. And then we have areas in our chart that are defined where we are consistent and we are conditioning other people who are empathetic in those areas. We all have the capacity to impact and guide and create and build and share and connect, right? We all have that capacity. But this is telling you, your type, how you are meant to go about guiding or impacting, how you're meant to use your energy in a way that's going to serve you in creating that business or that relationship or that family experience, whatever it might be that you're wanting. Human design is never going to tell you you can't be a guide if you're a generator, because you can have a mix of gifts that are projected, that are here to guide. And you can be a manifester who's here to impact and have projected gifts where you're here to guide. And you can also be a
Mm.
manifesting generator where you have a lot of openness. And so for you, Will, we just pulled up your chart, and it's insane that you have this
Ah,
projector reflector kind of energy where you're so empathetic. You are taking in a lot of energy from the world around you, and you only have one channel that's making you a generator. So the
mm,
diverseness that you feel of like, I want to do all the things and start all the projects and bounce around from thing to thing, you are meant to.
and only work for 2 to 4 hours?
Well, you have less energy than
Yeah,
other
and not do
types.
laundry.
Yeah.
Alright, well, that now okay, now we're talking because, I thought, "Yeah, it sounds like me." Okay, yeah, sounds like me too. Uh-oh, that sound uh-oh. It's like it's all,
And the
like, building
important
on
thing to
itself.
know is that,
Yes.
yes, you are all the things, but the way that you navigate life is through listening to your body. Whereas for me, it would be focusing on my fascinations and kind of holding my tongue a bit and waiting to be invited. For you, it's all about presence, what your body's telling you. Can you listen? That's the most important thing to focus on. But you're so empathetic that, yes, you kind of are all the things because you're always picking up the world around you so deeply.
And
Cool.
just to go a little deeper, Will, since now I have your chart in my hand, which I love when I get to finally see someone's chart after talking to them.
I'm
Um,
not scared at all now.
the first thing that I asked if you had an undefined G center, you do, which means like a manifesting generator, you have all these different passions. Like you're not just passionate about one thing. It's like I'm passionate about this thing and now I'm passionate about this thing and I like all of these tools and all of these modalities and I can't just pick one. You're not meant to. You're meant to fluctuate through and your path is meant to be one with beautiful turns, left and
Mm,
right and discovering new things and you
so
haven't.
now I'm being called flighty, Karen. Mm.
Yeah, and
Basic flight
There's something to this.
lazy.
and you have an undefined ego slash heart center. So this tells us that you're not designed to have consistent motivation on something. So if you love a project, you're really into it, you still might wake up today and have no energy towards it. And that's telling you you're not meant to work on this project today.
Today.
It doesn't mean that it's not right for you in general.
Mm,
Like let's say you were writing a book and you woke up in the morning and you checked in with your body when you sat down at your computer and your body's just like, ugh, I don't want to write today.
mm.
And that's your body saying, don't do it, not today. And
Okay, so maybe tomorrow I'll feel like doing laundry, Karen,
yes,
just not
exactly.
today.
Exactly. And, I want to say that Shayna's husband's a generator and my husband's a manifesting generator. So for both of them, they're using the same strategy of listening to their body's responses. And we really practice this. Honestly, I think it's one of our favorite things is to put it in practice in real life and to see, with my husband, for example, if he doesn't want to do his laundry, I let it sit in a pile in his corner and I wait until he gets that, like, okay, finally I have the energy to do this. And it might take him 2 weeks before he does it.
Or
But
longer.
or longer sometimes, but then he does it and he has this all of a sudden he just has the energy to accomplish that thing. Now, is everyone as accepting of their partner as that? Probably not. But I do like to wait until it's aligned for him to put his laundry away.
Yeah, that makes a ridiculous amount of sense because it does. Sometimes I just suddenly I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go do this." Like,
Yep.
how many times have I told you, Karen, I'm gonna do it. I just can't do it on that specific timeline, right? And
But
I
then a
never
lot of
understood
times you
why.
never do it, ever.
That's because you haven't given me enough time to
Like a
actually
year
get.
and a half? No.
Maybe at year and 3/4 is when the energy will come.
See,
You
he
never
won't
know.
do the laundry. He'll just go buy more new clothes.
I
That sounds
mean,
Oh, see,
you're
that
that's
not
sounds like my
wrong.
problem though.
husband as well. He'll never do the laundry, but he'll go buy new clothes. And, it's
Mhm.
the key theme as a generator or man gen is satisfaction. If you have that energy, like, no, it's not an exciting thing to do your laundry. It's never going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. But when you have that feeling of, okay, I have energy and this feels satisfying to just fold all my stuff and get it knick-knacked into my drawers or whatever, that satisfying feeling is what you're designed to feel in general with life. Like I worked on that project and it was satisfying and now I'm done. I'm constantly like, the whole house is clean except for the pile on the bed. And it doesn't make sense to me why my
Yes,
husband
across from the
can't do
bed.
it. But the energy's not there. Whereas for projectors and reflectors, we can fake it till we make it and make ourselves sick. So for
Wow.
projectors and reflectors, it's about pumping the brakes. Just because you see something needs to be done, do you actually have to do it? And if the answer is no, because it's not time sensitive, then allowing yourself to rest without guilt is huge. So, we could talk
Mm.
about all of these different themes that we've touched on here for hours and hours, and we probably will. But I do want to talk about reflectors and how unique you are
Yeah.
because it's so rare to have a reflector in the group and having this conversation. So, reflectors are about 1% of the population. They are the unicorns in human design, and reflectors are completely open. So, they don't have any defined centers in their chart, which means that they are here to empathetically feel and pick up the world around them all day long, everywhere they go, and they are amplifying and mirroring the energy in that environment or the people that they are around. So when you're around certain people, you're going to have certain interests and certain amount of energy, and when you're around others, you're going to have different interests and different amount of energy. And for reflectors, they're designed to be these chameleons that change every day and based on who they're around and what they're doing. So reflectors can do anything, right? Because it just depends on where you are. We've seen reflectors who are CEOs of major corporations and they go and they check in with their different departments and gauge the health of the company. We've seen reflectors who are mystic healers who are constantly sitting across from people and gauging what's in alignment, what's healthy for them, what's not. Your body as a reflector is the biggest source of wisdom because you're reflecting your environment. So if you're ever feeling unhealthy or you're feeling stuck or you're feeling bogged down, it's looking at, okay, can I shift my environment in some way? Go somewhere new, take a different route home. Can I take some alone time to really clear out and just be in my own energy? Having practices that clear out your energy, whether that's going for a walk in nature, taking a bath and like picturing that just kind of disconnect from you, whatever practices that you have to clear out your energy is so important as a reflector. And a lot of this information is the same for you, Will, because you have so much openness and you're empathetic, but you are designed to constantly be listening to your body. So the major difference is that reflectors are here to change every day, and their strategy is actually to listen to a 28-day lunar cycle before making any major decisions. And that is because
Oh my God.
in those 28 days, you are going to be shifting and changing based on the transits that are happening and the people that you're around. And your truth about a big decision like, do I want to move? Do I want to buy this house? These big decisions is going to shift and change every single day until at the end of a month, you have kind of sifted through and you have this crystal clear clarity. That's redundant. You have this clarity on this is what I just know this is right for me because you've given yourself that amount of time to process your truth. So, letting yourself change every day, asking, who am I today? And letting it be different every single day, not over identifying with one thing that you felt and you felt it was really good. And now you're trying to force yourself to be that all the time, but instead releasing control a bit and saying, okay, I felt that energy yesterday. Amazing. Who am I today? Letting it be different and then clearing out. Those are the practices that we would recommend for reflectors.
That sounds almost impossible to do, though. It's tough. I mean, it's some things you don't have a month to make a decision about things, and
And yet you take meticulous detail. I mean, you take a while. You said to
for
me
little
many,
things.
many
Big
times.
things, I decide like that. Little things, I will struggle with forever.
My mother used to call me a chameleon. So once again, I feel like you're
Yeah.
talking to me. So I
Yeah.
mean, how do I go around saying I'm a generator if I'm actually feeling like a reflector and a projector and a manifesting and all that kind of like a everything?
Because you have an undefined G center, you're different than other generators who have a defined G center. Your G center is your identity center. And yours is open, empathetic. So your identity, your passions, the path that you're meant to go on is meant to change based on who you're around, whose energy you're taking in. So when you're with a group
Okay.
of friends that love surfing, you are gung ho about surfing. And it's like you can be more excited than they are. Then when you're with your group of friends that are really into gardening, you can be really into gardening. And so you're meant to change your identity, your interest, your path based on who you're around. But the one thing that is consistent for someone with an undefined G center, as both of you have, is that you're so empathetic about other people. It's almost like you have this life coach energy, both of you. Because you have this undefined G center, you can take in other people. You can instantly feel their passions, their highest potential. You can kind of see a life path that they could take. So, anyone with an undefined G center, as both of you do, even though you're different aura types, we would say you could both be life coaches. You're excellent at seeing other people, you're excellent at giving advice and being able to guide people on their path. The downside, if you will, of having this undefined G center is that when it comes to your own life path, it can be a little more foggy. It's like, well, I
Mm,
have all of these interests and I want to do different things depending on who I'm around. So, what is consistent for me? And, the not self question, the question that you ask yourself when you're out of alignment with this undefined G center is, who am I? Everyone has their one thing. What is my one thing? And you're not meant to have one thing if you have this undefined G centers. Now, if you're not listening to your body and you're forcing yourself to engage with things that are exhausting for you, none of the highest expression of the rest of the stuff we could talk about will happen. So it's almost like the shortcut is knowing just that one first thing about your chart. But we're such curious beings. We're like, no, I can't just follow that. I need to know everything about my chart. In a lot of ways, we say that learning your full spectrum of your human design chart is almost training your brain to let go and to trust that first strategy to guide you. But our brains are powerful. Our brains are
mm.
curious. Our brains are here to question things, especially both of you two. So
That's lovely.
it's important to get all the details. You can train your brain so that your brain can decide to take the passenger seat and allow your type to guide you.
Mm.
But is it saying that, from what I understood is that you just kinda give all your energy and that's just how it's gonna be? Like, I mean, is that kind of what
Well, I mean,
my path
j
is supposed to be?
how
Is
many
that
times have you said that you feel like you want to share love and show people loved and giving of your energy to people because you feel like they need to feel it?
Well, yeah. No, I'm just trying to I'm, like, kinda processing it all.
Okay, huh? Okay,
Well, I mean, like, if hard things happen to people, I take it like, I feel it,
very
really. I
much
mean, I
so.
cry at everybody's pain,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I gotta figure it out. I gotta think about it more. I'm
okay,
not I'm not really sure that I understand exactly
okay.
what that means.
Well, if that's the case, boy, do I have a podcast for you to listen to, right? In fact, Shayna and Dana are actually hosts of a podcast that they do right now that's actually incredibly successful to the tune of what 1.5 million downloads
Woohoo!
worldwide. So congratulations on
That's
that. But
fantastic.
yeah, it's all about human design. So I would say if you're interested in learning more, then that's a great place to turn to begin with. Was it De Luna Human Design Podcast is
Yeah.
called?
Yeah, exactly. And you can find it anywhere that podcasts are found. And we do have an episode for each type. So
Oh,
let's say you're a reflector,
Oh,
you can go straight to the reflector episode and listen to an entire hour, a little over an hour, all about reflectors. And we talk a lot about how you can start experimenting with it to prove to yourself if it feels good or not. So we are all about skepticism. We love when people ask deeper questions because human design is an experiment. We never say like this is true or this is real or you have to follow it. It's like, well, try the strategy for a month, see how it goes. You tell me, did it work? Did it not work? How did you feel? Only through that experimentation can you really start to feel if it's clicking into gear for you, if it feels more meaningful for you, if you feel more energized, more flowing, like there's more ease in your life. So, yeah, the podcast is a great resource that you can go to. And there's actually episodes that cover a lot of different aspects of your chart. So one thing we didn't talk about was your authority, which is like your decision-making process. We have a whole episode where you can tune in and listen to all the different authorities and learn a bit about how you are designed to access your version of intuition.
well, if it wasn't for
cool.
your podcast, I'd say stay tuned for part 2, but I'm gonna go out and tune because yeah, it's difficult to do all 5 types in just this 1 hour that we've been together.
Yeah, and I love when we have an interview and questions are answered, but I like it when the more questions are created because then I get
Yeah.
curious and I wanna know more. So
Absolutely. And a great place is the podcast, but also daylunalife.com, right? Your website. There's a lot of information on there. And if you pull your chart and you have questions, I'm assuming they can turn to you and say, hey, can you help me out here? Because there's so much. I mean, like, we haven't even scratched the surface. There's so much to this human design thing that just talking about one thing, I mean, it's almost a disservice to a large extent because it's like a little tease.
Yeah.
Can people get more information from if they
Yeah.
reach out to
So
you?
on our website, we have a ton of videos that will teach you about the different aspects of your chart. We also have a full training that will teach you everything if you're wanting to dive into being a human design reader or offering this in your business in some way. And then we have a book, which is a great place to start. It's called Your Human Design. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere books are sold. And this book is great because it grounds this information down, it simplifies it, and it provides the action steps that you can start taking to experiment with your design, like Dana was saying. So it's beautiful. It has a bunch of quizzes and recommendations and meditations and journal prompts and things like that to really help you start integrating, understanding your design. I encourage you to figure out what way feels good to you to dive in, whether that's the podcast or the book or some video courses, but just starting with pulling up your chart for free online and just taking a peek at what type am I? And then what's my strategy? Can I start experimenting with that? And then the next thing would be your authority.
Oh, well, I am in. We're going to lay down all these links directly on our show notes. All you need to do is go to skepticmetaphysician.com, go to their episode page. You'll see the links directly to the book at Amazon, to their website, to their podcast, even on our show notes. So it makes it super easy for you to reach out to them. Dana, Shayna, this has been fascinating and frustrating all at the same time. So thank you so much for coming on and helping us kind of get a small glimpse into the world of human design.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Yes, it was so fun. Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this conversation as much as we have. If you know someone who would benefit from hearing the message we're sharing on the show, do them and us a favor and share the show with them. It will help get the word out about us, and it might just change someone's life for the better. Well, that's all for now, but we'll see you on the next episode of The Skeptic Metaphysician. Until then, take care.